This is my first video. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but right now I am inking the title of the chapter, Margot's Dream. I make a fatal error. I'm sure you've already seen it, but now it's official. Dream is DRAEM. That's what happens when you're focusing on the way things look and you are not thinking about spelling, you're not thinking about reality, you're not thinking about anything other than lines. But I've never used this paper before. It absorbs ink very fast, and you cannot get a sharp line. But as you can see, I'm using the paper because it's got a nice tone to it, and then I use white acrylic paint over it, and right now I'm using black ink for the title, Margot's Dream, and the blue and red is acrylic ink, so not your average ink, but also not your average acrylic. It's harder to find. I think it's more expensive. And hopefully this will be a good video on how to make a comic book. So far, not so great. So right now, I'm going to do the cover, and this is something I sketched up. Ze Muzik Voom. But yeah, I don't want it that small. I want it bigger, so I made copies. Right when I blew them up, let's see which ones work best. And that's where that piano piece belongs. But so right now I usually like professional artists, they'll use a light box, and so you can blow things up, you can shrink them down, and then you put them all together under the light box. But those light boxes are like $200, so I don't have one of those. So I instead have a glass tabletop, and I shine a desk lamp underneath it, and it works. I mean, it's pretty ghetto, but it's the best I can do. And I don't know, I don't even know how bright light boxes are. I mean, desk lamps are super bright, so I don't know, maybe my way's the best way. But here's the final pencils for the cover, and then we're going to ink it in a second. So now I am applying white acrylic ink to their socks. I don't know if you can tell, but they're going to have garter belts. I don't know if it's like, I know there's like old black and white French movies where the boys are wearing garter belts. And then I also think maybe in Austria, I have no idea what country this is supposed to take place in. It's something European, and it's old but fantasy and maybe sci-fi looking, but yeah, those little boys that they want to go into the music room to play with all the instruments. But as you can see, I said earlier that this paper really absorbs ink, and you can see the problems I'm having with this green acrylic ink. It just soaks in so fast, and then it almost, I don't know, burns the paper. It's not really burning, but it makes a dull green when you let it stay for too long, and it's pretty unforgiving. But I actually like some of the textures. I think I might end up just going in after this with acrylic paint and touching up the bad spots, but also leaving some of this in here because a lot of the mistakes, I actually like mistakes. I think it makes it look like a drawing, and I think sometimes when things are like too perfect, which I used to be like that, I used to try to make everything look perfect, but I think it lacks soul. I think people prefer looking at something that looks like it was made by hand, but this is definitely made by hand. But they also want a level of professionalism. But yeah, this is going to be the cover. Those are doors, green doors. I'm gonna probably put some plant silhouettes on the side. I want it to kind of look like you don't know if they're inside or outside, but they're always going to be inside. They brought the outside inside.